Okay, today's live stream. I've got a couple of topics that I wanted to talk about from one of our members over on V2, and this guy just brought up a lot of different stuff that I thought there's to do make it great. Just some ideas about stopping drinking alcohol and why people don't stop. Why, what stands in our way from stopping drinking. Peer pressure is one of the things that he brought up. I'm not going to read out the post that he sent me because a lot of it's personal stuff. But he's an attorney, and he said there's a lot of attorneys who do drink because they have to meet deadlines, and then they have to go to counselling to get themselves sorted out. He was also talking about a lot of peer pressure for him to drink, and then a lot of people ruining their reputation through alcohol, a lot of people who are who have the shame of treatment, and there's something called what we call the tall poppy syndrome, which is when you stop drinking or you don't drink, and you're surrounded by people who are doing something that they personally want to do themselves, but are they see you climbing up the ladder, basically, of success, and they don't like it. So, and then I'm going to finish off with we're talking about I made a quote the other day of saying that I don't suffer fools gladly, and just talking about it from that point of view. So first, let me see. I think the peer pressure for taking drugs, to start off with that one, taking up drugs and continuing to take drugs. I think there's a peer pressure in both of that. When we start out, there's a certain naivety that we've got in our youth, inexperience that sees us going into drinking that through naivety. We want to everyone wants to be part of the crowd. Everyone wants to, no one wants to look like a fucking idiot, and it's easy to get sucked into that. And continuing on with that, once you get a habit, I think it becomes part of your personality. It becomes part of the core thing that you do. You incorporate these things into your life because it makes much more sense to do that. From the point of view of everyone wants to think that they're clever. Everyone wants to think that they're intelligent, and that they so we make excuses and we rationalize these things. I started drinking when I was 12 or 13. Hated the stuff when I first tasted it. I thought it tasted like cack, like vomit. And I had a couple of things in between, between the ages of 13 and 18. And then once I got to 18, I think it becomes a rite of passage, whether it's 17, 18, 19, 16, whatever it is. It becomes that rite of passage. You feel like you're a grown-up once you've had that drink, or it's part of that rite of passage, I think. Then it becomes pure habit. It just becomes a habitualized part of your life. You do drink. You drink because of whatever. Because you want to relax, because you want to socialize, because it's the end of the day, because it's the end of the week, because it's a celebration, because whatever. It just becomes that pure habit. And when you look at peer pressure, it is just that. It's pressure. You don't have to succumb to the pressure. It's just an outside external pressure. And I think, like I said, a lot of people get into this when they're younger. A lot of people get into different drugs when they're younger because they can't take that pressure. They haven't got the tools for dealing with the pressure. Now, when you stop drinking alcohol, those people that you're surrounded by, the drinkers that you're surrounded by, the people who were your peers are no longer your peers. They're not on the same level as you once you stop. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, although, when you stop dummification, when you stop dummifying your brain, then you do level up to a different level. So, this is what gets most people into this in the first place. As I said, peer pressure. It's just wanting to do what the crowd is doing, what your crowd is doing happens to be. When I listen to drinkers now, there's a certain part of it which is funny, and I'm talking about the only drinkers that I listen to now are my family. Some of my friends still drink, and there's a comedy aspect to it when people are acting, when they're a little bit high and they're drugged up and stuff, but mostly it's a sad thing for me, because it's people that that are drugged up. Once you know it's a drug, and once you see that as a drug, and you can't unsee that, and you lose a certain respect for people. And I think it's why drinkers don't want other people around them that don't drink. Why they tend to stick with similarity, they want the same people around them, people who are drinking, or they like to drink on their own because they know the people can't see what they're like. I mean, I've coached a lot of people in my time since I've stopped drinking, and it's always the same story, so I'm always going back to that same thing of, since I've stopped drinking, I've always, I didn't phrase it this way in the beginning, but it is a push towards getting to the best possible version of yourself. And that means extending your personal life as much as possible, increasing your own feelings of well-being, your own feelings of security in yourself, your values, your commitment to yourself, your responsibility. All of these things, that integrity, it relies on you figuring out your values. And like I said, at the beginning, I didn't do this. There was, I don't think anyone starts this process off from the beginning with, oh yes, I've got to reevaluate myself and start looking at my values from a different perspective. But it comes on you as you move upwards in this life, and you start to question yourself and question your behaviors. Once it's easy to go from one behavior to another behavior to another behavior, and just once you start questioning your behaviors, then you start questioning your thinking, and you start questioning your thoughts, and then your beliefs. I used to have this poster on my wall from, I'm sure it was Gandhi that said this, but it was a way of looking at how you can excel in life, how your life can excel, you can generate success in your life, you can generate potential in your life, or you can degenerate, you can go backwards. And the poster said that your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. And the title of this video is, the title of this particular section is Alcohol, They Made Me Do It. And it's referring to people, but it really can be anything. It can be your environment. It can be the environment that you happen to be in, or the environment that you've been in for your life. Anything else. I think it's the beliefs that we have that lead to those personal restrictions, to the limiting beliefs, to that victimhood, to that learned helplessness that we've got in our lives as drinkers. And a lot of those beliefs are there from birth, or from when you can learn. This is what you're learning. They're the beliefs that are forced onto you by your family, your friends, your society in general, your peers. And we hold on to these things as if they are the truth, but they're not. They're just a belief. So it's when you get down to questioning those beliefs that you can really start to pull yourself upwards and forwards. So look, I'm okay with people who want to stay in that drinking environment. If that's what they want to do with their lives, I'm okay with that. If they want to do that to their body and their life and their mind, people who are stuck and looking for a way out, that's the people that I want to help, is people who are like I was for a long time, knowing that there was something wrong, but didn't know where to look for proper help. People that are not pointing the finger at you. I mean, and saying to you, this is what you are. If you admit that you've got this problem, then this is what you are, and this is what you have. So that's what I'm here for. It's a different way of thinking. That's all. We've got the Habits V2 up here. That's our platform, and if you want help, that's where I'm spending most of my time, helping people there. I tend to surround myself with people who have a desire to help themselves on a daily basis now. People whose ultimate aim in life is to leave the world with being a little bit better than when they found it. And that comes down, as I say again, going back to values. I think it was Elvis Presley, of all people, who said that values are like fingerprints, that everyone has different fingerprints, but they leave them on everything that they touch. And I really believe that it's your values, that you start off with the values that dictate everything else, and that should be your core thing, So your values should dictate everything that you do. Anyway, that's for a different video. Habits V2, we've been talking about this in some of the videos that I've been doing. The V2 stands for the second version of you, so version 2. And the V is a sort of a floating tool that we've been that I've been using for teaching. It's something that is very simple. It can highlight specific values: victory, victor, vigorous. We do a thing on the platform called the Vigorous Cycle, which is basically talking about some very simple ideas that you can run through your mind just as a sort of an engine that you keep yourself going throughout life.